Draconia here with another Dragonball Legends video. Today we're gonna do the judgment for the part 2 of this Legends anniversary. I did a judgment video for the part 1, so check it out if you guys want to see this. And yeah, let's just go to start with this part 2 judgment. I will go in, I would say, chronologically order. So the first one we're going to check is the Legends information here, which you can see on my screen. Then we'll move to the new mechanics, the new characters, what I think about them, and how I would rate it. But not necessarily rate it like on a scale from 1 to 10, but if I think it's good, bad, or whatever. On to the last thing we got, which should be the Zenkai for Bio Freezer. So the Legends information, what did we get? We got the review for here, the new ground battles, we got it, what else here? The area changed, overdrive, attacks, and so on. Then we got here the new units, got Goku, Vegeta. I'm just gonna kinda recap what we got all in this in Legends information, but this is like almost, I think, over 3 weeks ago, so yeah, we got new character information, we got this Gohan announced, and the equipment for Charlotte, and I think that's pretty much everything in terms of really new content, and cooperation with Spark Zero, but that's not important. I would say for the beginning, before I forget this, when it comes to free stuff, this anniversary is top tier. There's no complaint about that. I think I can say this for part 1, 2, and 3. The amount of CC we get, the normal Z power, LF Z power, embracers, everything is perfect. There's nothing to complain. But going back to this review, I would say this review was, I would say, perfect in my opinion. So they had the new mechanic, so that already is a big plus for the reveal. That's completely changing the game, so obviously that's good. We didn't know what's gonna be coming out for part 2. We had no hints, no leak, so I would say the new characters are okay for this. I think Saiyan Saga, especially Kaioken and Goku, deserved an 11 at this point. Vegeta already had 2, so it's kinda, yeah, whatever. But I think Kaioken and Goku deserved it. And I know not a lot of people are fans of Saiyan Saga necessarily, but I think if you look at the combination of ground battles, introducing ground battles, I think to make Saiyan Saga like the part 2 there, it fits. I think going here for kinda a symbolic part 2, you know, because this just fits, these two fit perfectly to introduce the ground battle, so I think that it fits perfectly, and for that to make this the part 2, I think that's okay. So overall, I would say good Legends reveal. Nothing bad about it. It was exciting, I would say, from the start to the end. I think I will also talk right here about the new game mechanics to judge that too. So Legends reveal, I'm gonna pass it as really good onto perfect, I would say. Really good or perfect, however you wanna see it. I would say really good, because perfect, you could argue that these are not necessarily the most hype LF units, but at the same time I think it fits well for the concept for part 2, so that's why I'm gonna say really good to perfect. So if I had to scale from 1 to 10, maybe 8 to 10, something like that. So okay, now to the no mechanics, which is the ground battle and overdrive. I would say it's not perfect, mainly because of, first of all, on the ground lag issues exist. And the second thing, which it's not necessarily I would say the new mechanic, but it's like the upgrade for the game causes a lot of lag for people. Like for example me, I have situations where I can't play matches. Like I can, like I queue into the match. Can select the characters and doing the loading screen before we get to the actual fight. I sometimes have disconnect, and it's to the point where I can't even record my own PvP matches anymore, because if I do that, I get disconnect, but it counts as my win. And I think you all can guess the problem with it, and this is something I'm really scared for Wednesday. Worst case scenario, I'm getting banned for this, and that's nothing I can do about it. And yes, I know I don't have the best phone, I really don't. But at the same time, I notice other people also have an issue who have better phones, so I think that needs to be fixed. The lag is still an issue they have to work around. So, but if we're just looking at the new mechanics and not like, you know, the impact to, you know, how the game functions, I would say, I think the overdrive mode is fine. It helps out, I think, especially against UI. I think the overdrive is really important to have, because you can't just, like, here's the thing with UI, if he dodges one time, you don't have the green long range green card or projectile blue or anything, you're kinda not really able to attack him. But with the overdrive, you can't necessarily stay on the base forever with UI, so I think that's good. And yeah, I think it makes the fight a bit more interesting. The charging and the new charge attack they got, I think. I don't see many people actually use it, me either, because I never think about it. I kind of forget it exists because no one's using it. It can be helpful sometimes, but you can also get punished for it. So I think all the new introductions for this are fine, it's just a lag, and you know, the huge update in general kind of influencing how people can play the game, or potentially getting banned, or in my case not even able to record my matches anymore. So I would say it's, give it a 6 or 7. I think they kind of have to introduce more things to engage the area change. I think that's one thing this game has an issue with. Outside of the new arts card, which have boosted, you know, damage, there's no really a reason to change your from ground to air, or the other way around. I would even say it's more, people are more like tend to stay in the air because of the lag, so they have to work at that. That's what I would say I would give it a 6 or 7, but it's rather good than bad in my opinion when it comes to new mechanics. So okay, now that's out of the way, we can jump into new characters and the new plat equipment and Zenkais and so on. See you right there after the short cut. Alright, we will go to the next thing here, and that is the new characters. I have every four units pulled up. I'm not gonna go over all their kits, I'm just gonna point things out I like or hate about this character, and just put them so you guys know what I'm talking about right here. Starting with Goku, I think he's good. Like, he's the, I would argue, second best unit in the game. I would even argue maybe to be number 1, but that depends on which team you use him. But generally speaking about this Goku, I think he's fine. I don't have any issues with him. I would say there are 2 things I would have changed about him, because I think they're maybe a bit too broken to extend. The first thing is his unique gauge, which is a bit difficult to do, because if you look at his kit, I think we can even put the post-transformation even. So he gets like 100% damage and unique gauge charge rate, but after the 3rd or 4th time he gets only 50. So it's kind of hard to say if they should change how the unique gauge works, because I think every 3 cards to destroy 2 cards and everything is a bit too much. I think that stacks way too quickly and ends combos way too fast, I would say. So it's really hard to kill him. But at the same time, he doesn't have any second life mechanic, so I think he deserves it. So, and the thing is, I personally would have said after every 4 cards, but then if you look at, because of the charge rate here, that would be probably be like, what, 6 to 8 cards, I don't know, to pop his gauge later on, and that would be too slow as well. So I really don't know, but I kind of would have changed it a little bit, like that, so that at the beginning only this was every 4 cards. Every 4 hits you get to destroy the cards and everything. So that's one thing. The second thing, which it's not necessarily broken, but I think they kinda didn't think about it that much at the beginning, and that is this green card, which I would say the solar flare. I don't think it was a good idea to make it a short animation solar flare, and it's not necessarily because of just him, it's more so because if you look at his best team, which I would argue is Saiyan Saga, you have Yajirobe on the bench, you get green cards. I think Tien pulls green cards. I'm not sure about Tien because I actually don't know his kit at all, but this Goku drawing the greens as lot as they do in Saiyan Saga, you can kind of spam solar flares, and that with a short animation means you can't punish him necessarily is, I would say, a bit of a thing that is annoying. So I would make this a long animation so people can just throw it everywhere, like with Yajirobe on the bench. But yeah, those are the only 2 things I would change about Goku. Otherwise, he's, I would say, really good damage here, completely fine. I don't think he's broken to the point of you can't play the game at all. He does a lot of damage. The solar flare can be really annoying because he gets also type neutral from this and everything, but besides that, I think you can manage him. And if you think about that, UI is still arguably the best unit in the game, and he's that good, I think they made a good job for, yeah, Kaioken Goku, well deserved the F. Now Vegeta, I will also say he's really good, but with him I have issues that are not like, I wish they would have made that a little bit worse. I would say in his case are like things I would have made better for him. And it's mainly one thing, because everything else I think is fine. It's his his disrupt. This disrupt is the same for pre and post transformation. So when you're hit by an enemy arts, one time activation is shared before and after arriving, and the activation resets when unique gauge becomes 4. Destroy 2 cards, enemy key minus 30, see all enemy main abilities for 5 timer count. Now the problem with this thing is, so the disrupt itself is strong, but it's really reliant on you filling the gauge of Vegeta over and over again. So what happens is, you could get hit once, like Vegeta get hit once, and you don't manage to get your unique gauge full, and you get hit the second time when he enters later on, you don't have any disrupts with him. So what I personally think they should have done about his unique gauge, the first thing is, you can't stack his disrupt at all. So what I mean is, you can fill up your gauge while still never have your disrupt triggered, but it doesn't count for your resetting. So if it doesn't matter if you charge unique gauge 5 times before you get hit, you still have afterwards to refill your gauge again to get your disrupt back. So what I think they should have done is, if you manage to fill your unique gauge multiple times, even before you're getting your disrupt activated, you should have the disrupt be able to activate again when you switch out and then switch back in. So let's just say you get at the beginning, you get a lot of priorities with Vegeta, you're filling his gauge up at least 2 times, so the first time you get hit, then this will activate, but when you switch out, they see the game sees, okay, you filled the gauge 2 times before you got hit, so you still have the disrupt when you enter the battlefield, and that up to 2 times. I think that would have made it more consistent. And the second thing, if they don't want to do that, they should have done it so that he has like a normal disrupt and then like a I would say, additional disrupt. And what I mean is, okay, so he's sealing mains, he gains minus 30 key, destroying 2 cards. Make the, I would say, this to 1 card, leave this, or make this to 20, I don't know. And that's his general disrupt he always has, no matter what, if your unique gauge is full or not. And then you can have this condition, so that when you do that here, you're getting all the disrupt here. So he has a disrupt, generally speaking, he has a disrupt when he fills this unique gauge over and over as he does now. So at least with that he has at least some kind of disrupt, rather than having nothing. And that's a problem I have. I already had this issue back then with Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, where it's like you need like 50% unique gauge to his disrupt to activate, so if he doesn't have it, he doesn't have a disrupt at all, which is pretty bad. So yeah, that's the only thing about Vegeta, but besides that, he's really good. He does good damage, he tanks very well. I will say, and this is something I'm scared about, we don't have a lot of really good purples. So if the Part 3 Ultra is a purple unit, and we have a lot of revives right now, if they bring out a purple unit with anti-revival, this Vegeta could get in real trouble. We will see tomorrow. I hope they don't do that. But so far he's really fine, very versatile, and yeah. Let's go to Tien and Chaozu. Now I already said it, I don't know what their kit is actually, so I'm not gonna go into detail with them, but I will say I think they're very solid from what I've seen. I know they can paralyze and get, I think, endurance now if the enemy has a status condition, so that's everything very, very well. They fit on Saiyan Saga very well, so again, they're really good, very solid. Comparing them to Kaba and Kaon Caulifla, because these are the other 1% Spartans we got in this anniversary, I would say they are slightly worse than Kaon Caulifla, because Kaon Caulifla have, like, I would say not only a better disrupt, but also a blast armor, which matters. They have the succession for this, so that's why they're kind of like close to them, I would say. Yeah, in between Kaba and Kaon Caulifla, so that's really good. Kaba is a good unit. He has defensive issues, but these guys have don't have a really good disrupt necessarily, but they have their succession, so that keeps them alive and makes them very useful, and have the, I would say, other abilities to keep up with the game. So I would call them very well done. And there is Nappa, who I have to say, this is very unfortunate with him, because if you have noticed, he's like the only one of these 4 units with a really new mechanic at all. I'm not gonna count Tien and Joseph's explosion succession as a new mechanic. That's like, wow, they added extra damage, like they added the damage you're getting, like an explode to the succession. That's nothing crazy new. But with this guy, they actually introduced the green card, which spawns you Cybermans that you can play, which is something they never did before. So that sounds all good, but I think they really, because they made this the first time, I think they really had a problem to find the right balance to make this unit good, because this guy is lacking defensively completely. Like he has bad defenses. Like his disrupt is fine the first 2 times, okay, but his defense is really bad, and their defense is even worse. Like they could get 1 quick attack from Captain Goku and they're dead. That's how fragile they are, and the Cyberman explosion doesn't do the damage to really make them worth it. Like they can do damage, but it's simply not good enough, and I have them personally at like 10-11 stars, and they sometimes don't tank, or Vegeta, Nappa doesn't tank. His death buff is really nice, but it's really not worth using him, sadly. So He's definitely the worst 1% sparking we got, you know, as a banner 1% sparking. They're sadly the worst one out of we got so far, and it's sadly not even close, so very unfortunate, but yeah, it is what it is. So now to the banners, which I think it's also important to evaluate. I will say this right now, I think both banners aren't great. I would say Goku banners is straight up better, because I think if you look at Vegeta's lineup, as first of all, Nappa not being that good makes this banner a lot worse. And if you look at the other LFs, you know, that are, let's say, featured, so it's Omega, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and LF Vegeta and Nappa. These two at this point, this guy's over 1 year old, he's too old, and I expected a Zenkai for him, but he actually did no LF Zenkai, so yeah. Omega Shenron, besides having a bit more tags, he's like a far worse version of this guy, so at this point he can't keep up anymore with the meta, so yeah, in Super Saiyan 2 to 3 Goku, he isn't horrible, but also not the best defenses anymore. Long combos are not the main thing anymore for this game, so besides Vegeta, there's no really a unit to, I would say, worth summoning on at this point, sadly. And with Goku's banner, it's, I would say, similar, but IT Goku is, I would say, a bit better than the rest of the units right now, especially because we don't have that many purples in the game. Like, it's basically an Evo, and he is not horrible. His green card is still annoying. I saw some IT Gokus recently, so they can still do well, but the one thing about him is his defenses are really, really, really bad. Like, worse than these two, like far worse. Like, I had my Vegeta be like destroying this guy type disadvantage. Like, that's how bad his defenses are. So, and besides them, this Goku at this point too old and also too many greens units right now. Goku and Bardock, they have their plat, but still also irrelevant. So really, there's no really, I would say, in terms of banners, they're not great. But I would say Goku's is better. But I would say the LFs at least are like, I would argue they are both from similar worth. Like, Vegeta has like a completely other purpose than Goku has, but he's, I would say, more versatile. He has a revive, so that can give him a potential long importancy. And also, he still does good damage. He has good things in his kit. And Kaioken Goku as well, very good unit. Offensively and defensively stronger, but no second life and everything. So yeah, I would say this banner is slightly better, but I think if you look at both LFs, you can't do anything wrong with summoning off. It doesn't really matter which one of the two you summon on. I don't think you're doing a bad choice by summoning for Vegeta or Kaioken Goku, which is way better, I would say, than what Evo banner and UI had to offer. Although I would say using Vegeta more now and Kaba and everything, maybe the Part 1 banners were, I would say the Part 1 banners, and when it comes to value of the banners, I would say UIs was the best. Evo is like on the same level as this one, I would say, because while the LF side LFs were bad, the 1% sparking with them was at least good, but in this case I would say it's better. You also have a better 1% sparking and a 1% side LF, so yeah, I would order it MUI, then this banner, then Vegeta's, Evos, and Evo Vegeta, and then lastly his, sadly. It also doesn't make it better that all of these guys are green. So you're really summoning for the worst version of him. Yeah, so no, but that's for the banners. I would say not bad. Also, Triple Z Power being there matters a lot. I would say the banners are fine. Not great, but also not the worst. Let's next look at the Charlotte equipment. So I think that's a really huge thing for making Charlotte relevant. Even I would say he's not like the unit you see every match, but he's at least playable now. So I would say this Charlotte equip is really good. I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10 because the main problem I have with this plant equipment, because that's one thing I wish it had, which makes, I would say, half of Charlotte's the Charlotte forms useless to a degree. And that's the lack of cover null, because this equipment doesn't give any cover null at all. So if your transformation doesn't have a kind of cover null, for example Super Saiyan 2, that's really bad. And I think the God form has it on his green and maybe on transformation. Super Saiyan 3 has it on transformation, and Super Saiyan Blue has it after filling the unique gauge for I don't know how long. But the issue is with Blue Charlotte, filling the gauge with no cover null is kinda hard. Also with no immunity to cast destruction or key reduction, so I'm not the biggest fan of Blue Charlotte. God Charlotte has it on a green card. You can kinda help him out with giving it a blue 17 blue card, so he force draws greens with this. So if you land the green, you get cover null, you get additional card draw speed, and Super Saiyan 3, easily the strongest form, with also having cover null immediately when you transform, and also the ability to have endurance null on, I think, second main. So overall it's really good, but 5 times cover null every entry on the plant would have probably made this unit a lot better. So unfortunate, but overall I would say really, really good equipment. Now for this Goku, we also got equipment. A lot of equipment this part 2. I would say it makes him usable. I mean, if you look at all the abilities you have, healing for episode Saiyan Saga is really strong, and also the subcomp manipulation, everything. Like, he supports well, his damage is okay. He's nothing crazy, but I would say also usable unit. Although I would say Tien is the better third character in my opinion. This Goku is, but to each their own. So I would say also not a bad equipment, but I would say he will probably not be relevant for too long, in my opinion. Yeah. So next we look at this Gohan. I don't really want to spend any time on him, really, because he's just bad. To put it simple, they gave him a 60 time account restriction to get card draw speed, which is level 1 card draw. He doesn't have level 2, he has just base, level 1 card draw speed. Yeah, 60 time accounts for one basic thing that every unit has is already making him really bad. But also, looking at his damage card is 150, and he has worse defenses than Nappa, who I already said Nappa has bad defenses. And I don't have Nappa 14 stars, but if he doesn't take that well on 11 stars, on 10 stars, 14 stars, doesn't make the biggest difference. So, and he has worse defenses, so not bad at tanking. Damage, to be honest, I never used him in PvP, but yeah, I would say he is usable after 16 time accounts for what I've seen, like on YouTube and what abilities he has. But let's be real, you're not waiting 60 time accounts to get an okay unit. Like, if he would be God in 60 time accounts, then you could argue him being good, but just to be okay, not worth the time. So, and also this time, if you look at, Saiyan Saga as a whole, like, for part 1, if you look at MUI and EVO, they kind of tried to go a strike version of Universe Web and a blast version, which I would say they failed a bit with the Blast version, but if you look at, for example, Vegeta, I think his Strike and Blast are not far off, so you can build him either way. While he's more Blast based, but like he's primarily Blast based, but you can also build him Strike based, so they actually fit well together. And with the end of the third, you can have a really good Saiyan Saga team. So when it comes to like Saiyan Saga to make as a team, they actually, I would say, did a pretty good job. Not to the same level with like how Majin Buu Saga was, but more than good enough to be a good team. Wish they put the same for Dragon Ball Saga, but yeah. But if you wanted to do a Blast version of this team, I would say don't do it. Like, Nappa isn't good enough, this 3-bit Gohan isn't good enough. These are the only two Blast units they had, so yeah. And besides Vegeta, like, it's basically Vegeta then carrying the team, which you don't want to really do. But the one thing I would say this whole thing lacks, and I know Frieza's right there, the lack of Zenkais in this one especially is kind of weird, because they got no Saiyan Saga Zenkai at all, and this Vegeta has only one, I would say, Dwarf Zenkai bridge, which is this LF Super Saiyan 3 Goku, the green one, and the other one is Green Cooler, who buffs powerful opponent on his Zenkai ability, but has a movie's Z ability. To this day, I don't know why they don't adjust the ability so that he has the same Zenkai and Z ability, but whatever. And this Goku, Red Saiyans, never had really good Zenkai benches, so yeah, that's a bit of an issue. But yeah, looking lastly at Revival Frieza, I haven't used this guy yet, but I personally think he is okay at best. And the reason why I say this, because I also did a ability review on him. He has a very bad disrupt, I would say, because where is it? That's 70 days. Oh, wait, yeah, I'm on Zenkai here, so yeah. Where is it? So, on cover change, one time, destroy 2 enemy cards, enemy key minus 50, and enemy buff points. That is his whole disrupt for pre-revival, and then on post-revival he gets that again, I think. So the problem with this is, he has only one disrupt for each his states, like post and pre-revival. That's a strong disrupt, but it's only once, and his defenses are pre-revival pretty bad. He has to get his damage guard, additional damage guard, through special moves and ultimate cards. He doesn't have to be on the battlefield, but to force, you're forced that your enemy is using these to get your full damage card, so that's not really nice. And you're probably gonna get it by the time this guy's only post revival already, which he's okay. And the problem with this is, and this is only going to talk about now because we don't have the new units out yet, so we don't know how big his role is gonna be. But so far his only team is really powerful opponent, and powerful opponent, if you look at the powerful opponent team quickly, it's mainly just Cell and Vegeta, and his disrupt is too inconsistent. I already talked about this before, and he has a one-time disrupt that really matters. The other one is 3 minus 20 key. On the first time he gets hit is not a big issue, especially against UI, who ignores it, but problem is he's extremely fragile. So this team lacks defensive abilities, I would say, and this Frieza doesn't help. It's nice that this Frieza heals Vegeta because he's on Frieza Force, although I don't get why his support ability isn't for powerful opponent, it's only for Frieza for the Lineage of Evil. Should have done it for powerful opponent as well, but they decided not to do it. His damage support is there for everybody, but I think that should have included powerful opponent. But yeah, so yeah, this is, I would say, everything. So I would say, if we look at everything, we have an okay Zenkai, failed 1% sparking, but that was also, at this point, I think 1% sparking is kind of screwed forever. Especially because 3 time accounts of Kavano is too short in this game. Make it 5 for everybody. But yeah. Drafts, 1% sparking. 2 decent, I would say, good to decent equipments. Okay to good banner. Unfortunate 1% sparking, but at least there's a new ability or new mechanic, so I'm gonna give Nappa okay for this one. If he didn't have the new mechanic, I would say straight up bad, but because he has it at least, I'm gonna bump him to okay. Good 1% sparking, very good LF, also very good LF, good Legends information. So overall, I would say he got this part 2 has been really good. New mechanics, good reveal, good LF units, everything. So I would say this is like, isn't an 8 out of 10? I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 because I think this guy bumps it down, but at least what I pushed him to okay, but I would say combination with everything else, I would say 8 out of 10 is fine. But I think this is not a bad part 2. Now, does it equal like what they told us this is gonna be the best celebration ever? No, I would say no to that. But mainly because part 1 is so. I pushed part 1 as a bad, straight up bad part 1. So, so this, it bumps it up at least. So that's a good thing. I think part 3 is gonna decide if this whole anniversary is gonna be I would say good or bad. But I would probably say it's not coming close to the last year anniversary, so this is not the best anniversary ever, but I would say, looking at part 1 and 2 together, this whole anniversary so far isn't necessarily bad. So let me know what you guys think about this whole anniversary. Do you think this is a good part 2? What is your thoughts on the whole celebration so far? And see you guys in the next one.